So when you ask me, what did it take to get here? It took a lot of dedication, but the dedication didn't just come because I'm working for myself and providing for others. It came from a place of dedication in everything that I did. So from practicing the violin in the summer, most kids want to go outside and play, but no, I want to be number one chair. So what does that take? That means playing the instrument 2 hours a day, every day. That's what it takes. I feel like the work ethic has to be instilled. The question is, can you teach work ethic? But I know that if you think you can kill it, I'm surprised that you're just not doing that. If you don't do anything to your thoughts and you just let them linger and float, they are just dreams. Hey, this is Shontay Lundy, creator and founder of Black Girl Sunscreen, and you're listening to Dreams and Drive.
Hey, Dream Drivers. Welcome to episode 303 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. And I am excited for us to have Shontay Lundy back in the guest chair. Shontay was our episode 245 guest. She is the CEO, creator, and founder of Black Girl Sunscreen. In our episode 245, we talked all about how to use intuition and move past doubt. But on this episode today, we're going to get an update on Black Girl Sunscreen and where Shontay is along her own dream driving journey. And for you guys who did not listen to episode 245, let me give you a quick one-on-one about who Shontay is. So in 2016, Shontay became tired of using sunscreen that left a white residue on her skin. So she decided to leverage her MBA and her knack for business to develop a melanin-friendly option for women who look like her. So while working to build awareness for Black Girl Sunscreen, Shontay has really continued to fuel her passion by traveling the world, educating women of color on the importance of sunscreen, right? And get this, Black Girl Sunscreen is the first indie Black-owned sunscreen product sold in Target's sun care section. So you can find Black Girl Sunscreen at Ulta, Target, CVS, Walgreens, and specialty retailers across the globe. I love these update episodes because, I first talked to Shontay in May of 2020. The episode aired in July, I believe. We were in a completely different mind state, right? We were settling into the pandemic. There were so many things that were going on. I was pregnant at the time, but I don't think I had told anyone publicly. That conversation informed so much, and she didn't even know it. And I learned so much from hearing how she was growing Black Girl Sunscreen. So to have Shontay back on the show today and to talk about how much she's grown personally and professionally, we're going to talk about some of the great things that Black Girl Sunscreen has done since 2020, and also some of the trials, or not really trials, but some of the new challenges that Shontay's facing, and what we can learn from her dream driving story where it is today. So stay tuned for that, guys. Remember, if you want to make sure that you're following us across social media, we are Dreams and Drive, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So make sure that you are engaging and letting people know that you're listening to Dreams and Drive. I really do appreciate it. All right, so let's hear from Shontay. Hey, Shontay, welcome to Dreams and Drive, part 2 of your story, right?
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we spoke to Shontay back in 2020. It was May 2020, but I think the interview actually aired it aired in July. Let me give you the exact date, actually, before I'm here just talking out of my head and not actually telling you the day. So you were at episode 245, right?
You're at episode 500 now or something, right?
No, 300, girl. You're like 300.
Oh, I thought I saw a milestone, but 300, listen, solid.
Yes. So you were episode 245, and we were talking to you all about your journey building Black Girl Sunscreen from corporate world, to taking the leap into entrepreneurship and all that went. I definitely would encourage you, dream drivers, to go back and listen to that episode, because this isn't going to be like a rehash of your story. Maybe we can just give like the 2-second version, right? Who's Shontay, and why did you build Black Girl Sunscreen?
Listen, the answer has evolved from 2020.
Okay.
I would say that, in 2016, I built Black Girl Sunscreen because there was a need, right? Mm-hmm. There was no sunscreen on the market that, spoke to women of color. But we fast forward to today, and knowing what I know and understanding who I'm talking to and understanding the impact, it's more than just creating a product. It is being an inspiration for so many women around the world to start something that they might have been intimidated to do, to start something that is out of the box, that is niche, and to see it grow, to watch it grow. So, every day it's something new. I learn something new. It helps me develop my thoughts on what really was the reason.
I was going to ask you, like, why did that change, right? Because I know when we spoke in 2020, you were really about, like, you're like, my goal is to be the best. I want to see where this grows. Like, I feel like there was a lot of, like, a business mindset as well. Of course, you wanted to educate Black women about why they needed sunscreen. But, like, why do you think that shift happened? Like, did something happen between then? Or did you have, like, just this realization that things are different?
Like, I'm just becoming a little bit more profound. No, it's the more and more that I think about it, the more opportunities that I have to speak on it, and just to really get my thoughts together and to really understand the impact, listening to consumers' feedback, building a team. In 2020, we might have had maybe 4 employees. Now we have 16, right? And understanding that, the sale of one sunscreen, the education behind sun safety is providing livelihood for, 20 individuals. So my concept it's just evolved. And do we still want to be the best? 100%. Black Girl Sunscreen, and this is Shontay taking off the humble hat for a second, but we've created a space. We've created an entire category, and we are the leaders in that category. And that's amazing. Right? Before, I didn't have that conviction, or I didn't have that ability to say that. And that's really what happened over the last couple of years, is tremendous feedback, growth. We are now in 10,000 stores across the country. Whereas before, we were just in 2020, 250 stores,
right?
250
Target. You're talking about Target, right?
Yeah. We've expanded just from Target. We're in Ulta, we're in Walgreens, CVS. We have several partnerships with, other founders that have salons and they're estheticians. So there's just been a tremendous amount of growth. But with that, my answers and my thoughts have evolved just because of the expansion, right? I'm thinking on, a higher level, a more holistic approach.
Yeah, that really is also like the CEO, like the visionary talking as well, right? Like when you're not saying that you were stuck in the day-to-day before, but now you do have that time, and you have, like, you're able to really see everything from a 360 perspective as well, right? And just seeing just how much the company is growing and how you really are, like, I don't know, like, how does it feel? Let me ask you that, like, just from a personal level, right? How does it feel to be here? You were at a level in 2020 and, even 2016 when you launched it. But, like, right now, 2022, Shontay, what are you feeling?
If you really want me to be so transparent, and I don't mean to take this in a dark place, but you ask me, how does it feel to be here? I feel like that I was put on this planet to do this, and that if I had to leave the planet, I would be okay. Yes, that's how I feel. And it feels amazing. It feels amazing to wake up every day to do something that doesn't feel like, this is going to be a task, or, I have to, pump myself up to get in the car, then go to the office. I enjoy all of the humans that work here at Black Girl Sunscreen or decided to come along this journey with me. The partnerships have been amazing. Meeting people have been amazing. And then the impact of, changing the thought process behind wearing SPF has also been amazing. So for me, I feel extremely fulfilled. And that's how it feels to be here. It's fun, actually. It's fun to be in a space where I don't necessarily, I don't call myself a boss. I'm a leader. But there's perks that come to this leadership, but there's also downside too, and a lot of pressure. And how do I handle the pressure? Well, I'm very optimistic, but my body will try to tell me to, okay, you got to rest. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to rest, but it forces me to rest. Right. So there's that aspect of it. But then there's also things like, this person wants to have a conversation with you, or, oh, hey, can you make this appearance? Or, hey, there's young girls at elementary schools that are showcasing you for Black History Month. They're literally dressing up as you, Shontay, right?
Isn't that crazy to think about?
It blows my mind, right? They literally Google me, right, for Black History Month or Women's Month, and they don't necessarily want to do history that they weren't a part of, who's making history now. And to be in that category it's mind blowing. Like I never get like, oh my God, this is happening. It's just like, oh, that's cool. But like people around me are like, Shontay, do you understand what you're doing? And it hasn't really registered.
Now I was going to ask you, the thing that came to mind was a lot of people are waiting to get to that place that you're in now, right? Like a lot of people are hoping like one day, I hope I'm at peace with like whatever career path I choose, or I hope I'm in this place where I feel like this is my purpose. But let these people, maybe the people who haven't listened to the episode, right, 245, let them know, like, what did it take? Like, what did it actually take to reach this destination? And it's not like, I feel like it's not just like, okay, I woke up one day and knew this was my purpose, right? Because for you, it was, maybe like almost 2 decades of a journey, right? Of getting to this place.
It takes a lot, right? Like, I'm still going through it, but it took me, first of all, working hard and trying to be great at everything that I did. And that meant playing the violin. That meant, so being the best at being a violinist at that age, right? It meant like, okay, so if I have a paper route, I want to get the most subscriptions, right? I want to get out there really early, no complaints, whatever. That taught me how to be a saleswoman. And then going to college and doing what I could do, doing that all through grad school, and then going into corporate America and seeing like, oh shit, like I'm going to have to work for this, especially if I want to get to the top. There are certain things that you have to do, whether it be a high performer, whether that's networking across with your peers and networking up, whether that's going above and beyond, working those extra hours, because before Black Girl Magic, we weren't really recognized for our efforts. And we still have to work just as hard, as we saw with the trial last week with Kentaji, right? Mm-hmm. We have to work hard. So with that, it took, I don't know, I was in corporate for 14 years, been doing Black Girl Sunscreen for 5.5, almost 6 years. We're 20 years in the game strong, right? But it took, I would say steps to understand, hey, what is going to get me to this next level? How much can I stand? When to throw in the towel versus not throw in the towel, right? Because quitting was never part of my vocab. I consider myself to be extremely loyal, even when just shit hits the fan and you're like, okay, like this is just beyond, like they're just asking way too much of me. But I did it because I needed to push myself to see if I was even capable. And then getting to a space where shit just becomes really scary. I think, when you're working for someone else, there's still this structure. You can go on a vacation, know you're going to get your paycheck. Whereas here at Black Girl Sunscreen, I still get my paycheck, right? I'm a W-2 employee. I work for Black Girl Sunscreen, but at the same time, like we're launching a product just in 2 days, a new SKU. But, I'm very hands-on with the product launch. Like, what do the assets look like? What time are the assets going up? The expectation for all the marketing team is to be on socials, so it's very different than it was when I was working for someone else. Like there is a level of, well, you know what, that can actually wait until Monday. Whereas now I'm doing, 2 and 3 shifts at Black Girl Sunscreen. I'm here at work throughout the day, and then I'll go home and eat dinner and then log back on to do whatever it is that I'm doing, because it's never enough. So when you ask me, what did it take to get here? It took a lot of dedication, but the dedication didn't just come because I'm working for myself and providing for others. It came from a place of dedication in everything that I did. So from practicing the violin in the summer, most kids want to go outside and play, right? But no, I want to be number 1 chair. So what does that take? That means playing the instrument 2 hours a day, every day. Knowing how to write music, to read the music. That's what it takes. I feel like the work ethic has to be instilled. The question is, can you teach work ethic?
I was just going to ask you that, right? Because I was going to say, like, what if there's somebody listening who's listening in right now who's like, but I just can't find the motivation. I get that a lot, right? People are like, I just don't have, like, I can't be consistent. I don't know how to be more how to be more inspired. What do you think people are lacking, or what do you think you have to dig deeper within yourself to really uncover or to get to that level? Because to be honest, I'll tell you, like, not everyone's built like that, Shontay, right? But people do have dreams. So it's like, is there a way?
No, not everybody's supposed to be the A player. There's not. I mean, look who's running the world right now, right? With technology, there's only a couple key players.
Exactly.
Right. So the question is, can the work ethic be instilled? To a point. And I think it has to do with your background, lack of having things.
Yeah.
Right. I come from a place where I didn't always have. So getting a job at 15 was very important to me because I wanted my own phone in my room. I know that's before your time.
No, we had more. I think I was right on the cusp of like cell phones. So by high school, I had a cell phone, but it was always trying to, Naima, get off the phone. I'm trying to get on the phone, right? Like,
Yeah. So I didn't have a cell phone until college. In my day, it was caller ID, three-way calling, phones, cordless phones, things like that. And even to get your own phone line in your room was a major deal. But I had to pay for that, right? So I think even coming from a place of not having can give you a little bit more motivation. So, I think about the team and the passionate folks and the people that really, really are eager to move up. That's instilled in them. I don't have to teach that. So I honestly, I don't have a good answer for work ethic being instilled. It's about if you want it and how hard you're going to go for it. What I do think serves as motivation, which sounds really crazy, is other people doing it. And that's with social media. So you see this one chick growing her plants. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah.
Plant mom. And you're like, oh, I can do that. Right? Okay, so somebody goes and starts that. Oh, I see this person is starting a business. I can do that too. So I think subliminally, people are being motivated just in a different way.
Yeah. I was going to say it also can be on that same level, right? I know someone told me this quote once, like, there are people out there. This is actually the person who helped me launch a podcast. He was like, there are people out there who aren't even half as smart as you. He said this to me, who are out here doing it. What's stopping you, right? And I had to sit back and be like, yo, you are so right. Like, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, like, you don't have to necessarily be the brightest, right? But you have to have that energy. I always say, like, look how all these mumbo jumbo rappers, right, who are out here and they're making money. But You know what? They in the studio every day, right? You can't understand what they're saying, but they're out here making tracks. Right? No, I use that as an example because I'm like, yo, how are all these? So I thought I was in the cool generation, but the Gen Z generation, there are so many rappers who I don't even know their names, right? But they're out here with huge followings on TikTok, building their platforms, right? And to me, their music isn't my taste, right? But they found an audience. And sometimes it really is about like finding your audience and finding what you do or what you want to do that you'll be actually motivated to do it. And I think some people are maybe trying to pursue dreams that really aren't their own.
Oh, damn.
Think about that though, right?
Yeah.
That could be a big thing too. Cause I'm trying to think like what makes it that some people just are motivated? Like maybe that's not really your true dream. Maybe you got to be real with yourself.
Some people are actually okay with being mediocre, like just kind of living the life that they live and that's it. Like they don't want to go hard and they don't want to do anything extra. Having energy sometimes does require energy, right? Like
that's true.
I might not have the energy every day, but I still get up and do what I need to do, right? Because it's the responsible part of me. And not everybody is that way. Man, that was really crazy what you said.
About the mumbo jumbo rappers. I say that because I can't understand what they're saying. I'm like, what are you actually saying? But
the mumbo jumbo, but also about the dreams, like living somebody else's dream and not your own dream. And I think sometimes a dream is a dream. That doesn't mean that it comes true.
Yeah.
Right. It's a thought.
Yeah. But
no, it's a thought.
Let me think. There's a dream dreamt and the dream realized or actualized. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But it's like, what do you do with that thought? Or how does that manifest?
If you don't do anything, it's just a dream.
Yeah.
Yes. If you don't do anything to your thoughts and you just let them linger and float, they are just dreams. I have to say that I do quite a bit of interviews and submit answers to questions. And your conversation has been one of the most thought-provoking, and I would say intentional conversations that I've had throughout my entire career at Black Girl Sunscreen. And that's why I wanted to do a follow-up conversation. I said, because this woman has got me thinking. And when you said, hey, Shontay, I saw you went to college in upstate New York, you drove down to South Florida, and now you're over in LA. What were your thoughts about that or something like that? What made you do that? No one has ever framed it that way. And for a little bit, I started to frame it that way. Right.
So I'm thinking about the actual triangle, right? Like you legit had, I saw it as a story, like, or as a visual.
Yeah. But with that visual and the way you framed it, I started to see myself as a risk taker. Right. So I started to talk about my story being that, like, hey, I started in started in New York, came to South Florida and jumped over to LA. And I didn't realize how much risk I was taking by doing all that traveling and making those big girl decisions. I've kind of come away from that story, but it has been part of my story. And I want to thank you for that, because I never really thought about it that way. And you do a really nice job. And even when it's with follow-up questions and thoughts, like, not everybody has that talent. The response might be like, yeah, nice. Yeah, I love that.
That's so boring. Like, I'm like, I'm also just a naturally inquisitive person. My mom told me my favorite phrase growing up was, but why? But why? Right? And she was like, you will always ask why. And I think that's where the real nuggets are, right? Like, it's so easy to just say, I like red, but why do you like red? Oh, you know what? I used to be in the backyard with my mom planting tomatoes, right? And she showed me the different shades of red. And then I realized there's layers to things, and you don't even know, like, that's why you like red, right? So there's always something deeper. It's kind of like, I'm not going to try to like bring this up too much, but even think about this whole big recent thing within the Oscar situation, right? The slap heard around the world. There's so many layers to everything. We don't have to talk about that, but I'm just saying everything really isn't what you see. And there's probably more things there's so much that can be uncovered if you just dig a little deeper. So the pandemic, you legit scaled your business during a global pandemic, Shontay, which I know probably wasn't easy, probably came with a lot of stuff. Talk to me about what growth meant for Black Girl Sunscreen and how you guys did it.
You do it all without breaking a sweat. Like being a boss exec to Tuesday tennis to homework. Why do the kids have so much homework? Family dinners, lunches, brunches, trips to the vet, and a weekend getaway that's anything but a getaway. And you do it all in style. Even when you have back-to-back conference calls on top of the kids' orchestra recitals, not to mention your side hustle. That's why we created the fully reimagined Infiniti QX60. A luxury SUV as functional as it is stylish, and as versatile as it is serene. With premium features like a panoramic moonroof, ample cargo space, and available massaging front seats to bring the ease of luxury to your everyday. Introducing the all-new Infiniti QX60, designed to help you take on life and all the chaos it may come with, in style. Learn more at InfinityUSA.com. Now with extremely limited availability, contact your local retailer for inventory information.
Hey, my lady dream drivers. As a lot of you may know, I'm all about keeping it natural and keeping it healthy. And as a dream driver, I believe it is so important for us to take care of our mind, souls, and bodies. And the one time of the month that some of us may forget to do that is that time of the month, aka period time. So this is Elle, period care inspired by nature. This is Elle has a 100% organic cotton core. Elle tampons are organic cotton without that organic price. Elle is the #1 cotton brand in feminine care in the U.S., and it's made for everyone. Their tagline is, "We may not all look the same, but we are all created equal. So let's treat every person, every body, every vagina with love." Elle is for loving your body with clean and simple period care, free from synthetic pesticides and dyes. So as we're on this dream-driving journey, let's invest in our feminine health, guys. If you're in the market for new feminine products, visit thisiselle.com to learn more.
We didn't know what it was going to be for us in 2020. I questioned if I was coming back from South Africa at the time. And I did, of course. And, the retailers, the one retailer we were in was just kind of like, yeah, we're going to kind of slow down on the ordering. It's all about essentials, toilet paper, whatever, dish detergent, waters, whatever. And it was like, okay, so we can't let them dictate what we're about to do. How do we pivot with this? What does that even mean? What does it look like? Okay, well, people aren't going to work. People are spending much more time outside. People are, whether it's, having to do recess with their kids in the front yard or the backyard, they still got to put on sunscreen, right? So we quickly pivoted to that, like, hey, even if you're going out for your lunch walks, wear sunscreen, right? People were going to the park, wear your sunscreen, and that's really how we grew it from that perspective. The pandemic sparked BLM. Right? So there was a heightened awareness on Black-owned businesses. Great. But with that, you still had to retain the customer. If you didn't have a good product, it was just a one-time purchase for the people that were new to your business and that just wanted to support because of the color of your business. How did you keep those customers? That was truly the task in 2021, because in 2020, we already knew pandemic, BLM, growth. Now, 2021, 2022 is the true testament of how your business performs, because you can't even count 2020.
Yeah, everyone kind of had like a opportunity to get in on it, but all right, you going to stay in it, or is your sticky tape dissolved, right?
Yeah. So with that, how do we do it? Well, we have a very human approach to our consumer. We are the consumer. We speak in a very, very direct language to who we know gets what we're saying. Mm-hmm. We have strong partnerships. So one of our most recent sponsorships was partnering with USC.
I saw, and you guys are the first retail product, like suns. Like, who would ever thought? Like, you guys are the first of its kind for USC, right?
Yeah, well, not even just USC, right? And this also speaks to who Black Girl Sunscreen is. And we are who we say we are, right? Because we haven't transformed, but what we really, our ethos is empowerment, right? So the partnership with USC is the first of its kind. So we are the first brand to partner with a major university that sponsors women's track and field. I'm going to say it again and then go into what it means. Okay. Black Girl Sunscreen is the first business to sponsor a women's track and field team on a collegial level. And that is significant because women are 40% of athletes. Women's team don't receive proper media coverage. They don't receive proper sponsorships. So this is significant because we are backing a female-led team. We are saying, hey, community, this is important to us. So we walk the walk. We're not saying like, hey, we empower females by posting something on social. We're actually doing it. We are an underserved group, meaning Black Girl Sunscreen, and our customer also supporting another underserved group, right? And that's why that sponsorship / partnership is so significant. We're growing because we have such a really human approach and not so corporate-y, right? Even our office hours, we start at 10 a.m. West Coast time, by the way.
And I hear West Coast, that's late, right?
Yeah. I mean, to the rest of the world, yeah, you're already halfway through your day if you're on the East Coast, for sure. Right. So even understanding like who we are, what we bring to the table, what our customer is looking for, being very sensitive to things that are happening. Like, okay, like we wanted to do something on stage, like, don't touch sage. Can't touch sage for many different reasons, right? And I won't go into it, but just being aware. And so we grew because of all of these human elements. Right.
So do you think that's something that like other dream drivers listening, like to tap into the human part of the brand you're trying to build?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you have to be the face of your brand, because I'm not the face of Black Girl Sunscreen. And actually, oh my goodness, something happened a couple weeks ago. Black Girl Sunscreen. We have several trademarks, but the most important one just happened a few weeks ago, and that was our name. And if you know about trademarks, they fall in different buckets. So Black Girl Sunscreen is a descriptive name. It describes the product. Okay. And we were told that it was going to take 5 years to get the trademark, right? And 5 years. And what we were supposed to do in 5 years was to build our reputation, to show that we were being sold in the marketplace, all these different kind of not accolades, but things we needed to prove that we were a real business. And we got it in 2 years. We got it in 2 years because of the amount of customers we have, our reputation, our presence on Google, and so forth, right? So Shontay, myself, had somebody take a picture of me in front of our logo, right? And I posted it on my team, on my page, my Instagram page. And at the time I had like 6,000 followers. Nothing crazy, right? 6,000 followers. Posted it. And within 5 days of the post, I had 12,000 followers. And that post is still going today at 148,000 likes. 148,000 likes. It's reached 9 million accounts. So that means it surpassed our core demographic, and it's reached other folks. Now, what comes with that? Let me tell you. Bullshit.
I was going to say haters.
Well, it took me to a dark place, because I was just like, what is happening? First of all, I don't understand why people would even follow Shontay, right? So I was talking about tying this in about not being the face of the brand and coming in and approaching the consumers from a human element. And we do that, but I do that from a distance. Right? Like I don't have to be on the billboard. I don't have to be on every social post. But I think people are now following Shontay because they're like, oh, this is the person behind the brand. So with that comes the scrutiny and the trolls and the people that just aren't so nice. So I'm going to go from mild to just really drastic. Okay. So some of the mild comments, and this is all negative, and I'm not going to let the negative overshine the positive because there's just so much positivity in that post. But here are some of the mild ones, and excuse my language.
Okay.
So a mild one was, oh, if it were Asian girl sunscreen or white girl sunscreen or Mexican girl sunscreen, then you'd cry racism. That's mild. Another mild one is, so my in the picture, my tongue is out, right? But I'm also kind of silly. It's not the first time I've taken a picture with the tongue out. Mm-hmm. And I will say that a billionaire, female billionaire who's just sold her company is on a cover in a magazine with her whole mouth open, just to give you a comparison. Okay. So mild. You're supposed to be a positive representation for Black women. You should put your tongue back in your mouth. Mild. All right, let's turn it up a notch. Okay, so you want to have you need your own Black products, your own Black restaurants, your own Black schools, and your own Black damn country.
People are like just putting this with their face to it, right? Like they don't care. This Black History Month, McDonald's is kicking off Future 22, a campaign celebrating 22 Gen Z leaders across the country who are making an impact on their communities right now. This generation may have the largest influx of young leaders since the civil rights movement. They're starting their own organizations, finding ways to empower youth and culture, standing up and speaking out. McDonald's is showcasing their efforts and the impact they're having on the world. Did you know there's Black Sign Language? It's a form of American Sign Language that truly speaks our language. Student J.C. Smith is an advocate for the Black, deaf, and blind, and is an expert in BASL who works to help keep the tradition alive. McDonald's introduces his story and the stories of other Gen Z community leaders impacting the future on Instagram at We Are Golden. So make sure you check out We Are Golden on Instagram to hear more about these Black youth leaders and their stories. So what are you dreaming of? Adventure, more family time, a change of scenery? The nerds at NerdWallet can help you take the first step towards making your dream a reality. NerdWallet is a personal finance site run by money nerds who make it easy to compare and find the smartest financial products for you. So let's say you want to book an adventure beyond your backyard. NerdWallet can help you compare and find travel rewards credit cards so that you can use everyday purchases to rack up on points for flights, hotels, and more. Or maybe you want to spend more quality time with your fam. As dream drivers, that's important. NerdWallet can help you compare and find financial advisors so you can find less time watching investments and more time with the kids. They've got tools, calculators, and side-by-side comparisons to help you find the smartest products for you so you can turn your dreams into reality. Personally, my 2022 goal is scaling dreams and drive, so I can use NerdWallet to compare hundreds of the top credit cards and investing accounts. NerdWallet makes that super easy. Are you ready to compare your way there? Compare and find the smartest credit cards, investing accounts, and more at nerdwallet.com. NerdWallet Compare Incorporated, NMLS 1617539. NerdWallet is not an investment advisor nor an investment broker. Information is for educational purposes only.
Put your tongue back in the mouth. Looks like you sucked it. Okay, that's middle. Ready for the drastic? It shouldn't be Black Girl Sunscreen. It should be Nigga Girl Sunscreen. We're talking about on a post that shows that a business is now registered.
You know, it makes me wonder, like, not saying that it's just a regular post, but do you know what made it so viral? Do you think it was that people were, how does she do it? Or like, you know, like what attracted the trolls? Like what?
So it's a combination. So I'm holding the paper like this, right? So my nails are stiletto shaped, and they're actually my nails, by the way. I love my nails, so I had to say that, right? But they have a design. I'm wearing rings on all fingers, hair's fluffed up, tongue out, right in front of Black Girl Sunscreen. Okay, so it's not just one thing; it's several things. I do not look like the normal founder, CEO of a company. Okay. Then it's like, well,
I'm looking at it now. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you tell me.
Like, to me, this is like, I'll be like, yes, girl, that's my reaction, right? It's just so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I now have a newfound appreciation for people that have large platforms and just mind their business, because there are people that have platforms that don't mind their business and kind of start trouble. But for the ones that are just living their lives, doing what they love to do, you know, really project kindness into the world, and then they get trolled. Like, I feel for them, because you can only take but so much. And my circle of friends would say, why are you even reading the comments, Shontay? Like, don't.
How do you not, right?
Well, it's weird, because when you're not supposed to see things, that's when you see them. Like, you know, the app only shows you a certain amount of like engagement, right? So maybe whatever, 20, 30, but it seems like every time I opened it, I saw the negative comments and not the positive ones. And I'm just like, people really think this is mean. I never have left a negative anything on anything. I just keep it moving.
Like, if you don't like it, it's like, I don't find the energy to even, like, people actually have energy to sit down and ruin somebody else. Ruin someone else's day and their energy field. For what? Right? Like, what do they get out of writing that?
Yeah. I know some founders who troll their trolls, though. They troll
that also could be a little energy draining. I would imagine, right?
I just don't know. I mean, it's funny, I guess, but like, I just don't see like what you get out of it. But you know, going back to, you know, the human element of it is, you know, Shontay Lundy is not the face of Black Girl Sunscreen, but I became a face of Black Girl Sunscreen for a hot minute, and it didn't feel that great. It just felt like people weren't happy. Some.
Yeah.
Right? Majority were just like, oh, this is amazing. Like, great accomplishment, 2 years instead of 5. And you're doing all these really cool things. But this is the energy that we've been getting for a long time. Somebody asked me, I was on the panel yesterday, like, what are the challenges? I'm like, I'm faced with challenges every day. And I gave them the example of the trademark. Like, who would even see that coming or expect it to come? That's a challenge, right? We really still have to explain our name, and we got to make sure you're not mad. Is this a me problem or you problem at this point? You're mad because our name is Black Girl Sunscreen?
Can I be real with you, Shontay? And this is me being a little transparent here. I think, honestly, that fear of scrutiny has been has been holding me back. Does that make any sense? Like, this fear of success. It's funny because, do you watch This Is Us on NBC?
I didn't, but our commercial did air on This Is Us.
All right. So there's a line where Randall the black guy, the black adopted guy, he's like, Mom, if I run for like the position he wants to run for, I will win. Right. And she's like, yes, I know, son. Right. And I say that because sometimes I feel like if I really was to go 100% in building Dreams and Drive, not saying that I'm not going 100% right now. I'll be honest, right? Let's say I was doing everything possible. I really feel like this could probably be one of like the best interview podcasts, because I really do feel like I'm a great interviewer, right? But there's always this little part of me who's like, but what if you make it, girl? Like, will you enjoy it? Do you want it, right? And it really is like something that I think is holding me back, right? And there's probably somebody else who's listening who is scared of success. Like, for me, it's not fear of failure, but it's like this flip side of like fear of success and always doing what I know will get me to the next level, but not the best level. Does that make sense?
Imposter syndrome too.
Yeah.
It does. It does make sense. I mean, I'm telling you something that this is absurd.
And it's like, how do you protect your energy? How do you, not everyone, like you said, is not like, I follow this girl, Alex Wolf. I don't know if you ever heard of her, but like she went off of social media for like a good year, right? And she's like, I just couldn't do it anymore. But her whole life was revolved around like showing up online. And so I think for me, it's like, I don't necessarily want to be like an Oprah, but I still want to tell people stories, but it requires me to do the interviews, right? If somebody else is doing Dreams and Drive, of course it'd be the brand, but it wouldn't be the same energy, right? So that's something that I'm trying to like grapple with, and just, taking you guys into that. Like, how do I navigate that? Because I just feel like I'm wasting time, and there's just so much that could be done. And like girl, get out of your own head. Like, make it happen, right?
Fire in your own head. But the thing about it is, you won't be doing something right if everybody loves you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That is very true.
Unfortunately, everybody is not going to have that same appreciation and love for you. But I know that if you think you can kill it, I'm surprised that you're just not doing that. Like, it's wasted energy. It's wasted talent. Come on. I just told you that you have been one of the most thought-provoking conversations that I've had in my entire tenure. Right. And you're not even really going hard on your questions now. Right. Because I'm sure if you did the research, you could ask me like, oh, my goodness, how'd you do this? And what about this? Right. But we're kind of just talking off the cuff right now.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that gift. And just being able to, hey, I heard the information, I've processed it within 10 seconds, and here's my follow up.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that. You could have been monetizing it.
We have I'm with the ad agency now, so we have our ads and stuff, but I'm just feeling like the brand overall, right? Whenever I see like another celebrity doing an interview series, I'm just like, yeah, I need to hire Raina to do these interview series. Like, it's like getting my own.
You just need to do you.
Yeah, that is true.
You need to be Joe Rogan. I mean, he's crazy, but listen,
he built his followers. People go hard for Joe, okay? His Joe people love him. They love him some Joe.
But the thing about it, he's pretty well versed in a lot of different things. And that's where people get caught off guard.
Yeah. He's not dumb. Like, it's not like he's like this airhead. Like, of course he has his moniker. He has his brand, right? But you actually have to know a lot about a lot in order to do that well.
Just right. And have a variety of guests. And you have that capability. So I just think that, when you're ready You can only do it when you're ready. When you're ready to go, and you do it. But yeah, the fear of, everything that I just talked about is real. It will happen. And I'm not even at the pinnacle yet. We're not at the tippy top yet.
I think right now, when I look, you're like 13.5. Wait till you get to that 20K. Wait till you get to that 100K, Shontay. But you'll have somebody else managing your personal page. So you'll be like, listen, I'm gonna be Beyonce.
Yeah, but it's so dumb though. Like, I'm just baffled. Anyway, it's not even about the followers, right? Because I don't care about the followers. It's about all of it. Because one thing to have followers, but still, like, when I do panels, like, people are pretty excited to have Black Girl Sunscreen on deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how many followers I have. Right. So even that scrutiny of from the shoes that you're wearing to the words that are coming out of your mouth, it gets a little bit harder. So no, I couldn't be a celebrity. No, I'm watching people go on these talk shows and I'm like, ooh.
And to have to show up like that. And it's even funny, like, we can like go back to that situation to know that, like, you will now forever be judged by your actions, right? Like, people are watching, you are the example and you just led us astray, right? Like, who wants that pressure? Like, they may, let's say, like you said, like, they were in someone's house, they were in a different situation, that probably would have gone over completely differently. But yeah, it is tough. But some people don't want to be, but they end up, right? And it's like,
because they're the best of the best, right? And that's the thing. When you're the best of the best, sometimes it's coming not because you want it to come, it's because of how you are performing.
Yeah.
First of all, let's say, well, he's the golden child of damn Hollywood. Come on. So when it comes to you in your lane, in your space, when it comes to Shontay in my space, in my lane, we are working towards something, and that's how these accolades are coming. I can't explain it no other way. I just think that you are one of a kind. There are tons of podcasts out here, and for you to be able to get the guests who you've had, I think you're only going up.
Thank you, girl. I really appreciate that. That was the confidence I needed on this Friday to close out my week and to just really know that, listen, Monday come, because I do take off. I do have self-care days, right? Like, I try not to work too much on Saturday and Sunday, especially because I have Axel now. But listen, I appreciate that. So let's round out with you just telling our listeners, if this is their first time hearing of Black Girl Sunscreen, how can they experience it for themselves? And what's next? What's next for BGS and Shontay?
What's next for Black Girl Sunscreen is to continue to have Black Girl Sunscreen products accessible to anyone that's open-minded about sun safety and SPF. It's still not as easy as it looks or as easy as one thinks to get a person of color to protect their skin on a daily basis. So what we're doing is we are talking about the why instead of the bye. So education first and foremost. And then just being wherever you are, whatever neighborhood you live in, we want to be there for you. We also are available for you. Shontay has mentoring sessions every Tuesday and Thursday. You can send us an email at contact@blackgirlsunscreen.com if you have any questions. I know what it's like to come up in a world where you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to. You don't have anyone to bounce an idea off of that is strictly unbiased. And then lastly, Black Girl Sunscreen. Yes, we started with 1 SKU. We're now on 8 SKUs. 8 SKUs, 4 major retailers. And we're always grateful and thankful for everyone's support. If you bought 1 tube, 5 tubes, even if you've never used it but told someone about it, we're appreciative for that because we wouldn't be here without you.
I do appreciate that. Shontay, thank you so much again. I know we were only supposed to chat for like a certain amount of time and we went over, but I love chatting with you. And like I said, I do not take your regard of our interview experience lightly. I really do appreciate it all. And I just wish I think you yourself, you are a great speaker. You are a great teller of the story and of the mission.
Thank you.
Listen, don't read the comments. I know you will, but listen, F those people and those haters. All right, girl?
Well, so when you decide that you going ham, okay?
All right.
And you go on tour in real life, you got to have me as a guest.
Of course. Okay. You know, it's so funny. I just moved. And so my basement now, you can't see because it's junky down here. I was just telling my partner, I'm like, yo, can you help me build like a little podcast studio? Because he does videography. So I'm like, we can set up the lights. You can like make, like, even if it's just on my end, it looks like a podcast studio and I'm still interviewing people virtually. Like, I got to use what I have. Start making these investments, start reaching out to, because I'm not scared to pitch people, but it's always like, they're like, but how big is your brand? Like, or how big is, my problem is like, not everyone's going to see Dreams and Drive as like how you see it, right? And it's like, all right, but you don't have that many followers, or all right, I want a bigger platform. So I feel like I'm constantly trying to prove.
And really, I feel like your rebuttal to that, if you feel like you want somebody to come on your podcast after they've asked you those questions, first of all, right? Because for someone just to give you a platform, I think is an honor. And that's what people are really underestimating and taking for granted, I believe. That's my thought.
We talked about that in your first episode, in the first.
Right. And I still believe the same thing. It doesn't matter how big or how small, it will grow. Right? We all need to start somewhere. But your rebuttal is nobody's going to interview you like me. Seriously, that's your gift. It doesn't matter how many followers you have today. I'm telling you, people think they can interview and they can't. They're not good listeners and they don't have good questions. They don't even do the research. Don't ask me the same basic questions that everybody has asked me in the last 20 interviews. They've heard it. Hey, how'd you start your brand? What?
How many stores are you in? Why would you waste precious time asking that person that, right?
Come on. So you are not starting on a basic level of knowledge. You're coming in well-informed and really hoping to pull out of them something that they haven't been able to share before. That's the differentiation from other podcasts and other interviewers. And if they can't recognize that, that's okay.
I'll find my yes, right? Like,
yes,
you don't have to be my yes, somebody else.
And then you're going to have to be the bigger person because they might come back around and ask you, hey. And then you might have to decide, because I remember people that told me no. Listen, I don't care. I know it's petty. But sometimes you have to because it's hard. Like, dang, you won't even give me 30 minutes of your time. 30 minutes?
And I always tell people, like, all right, what about if you had, all right, let's say this episode gets 1,000 listens the first day. That's 1,000 people if you were in a speaking engagement, right? Mm-hmm. That is like a lot of people if you actually think about it. And I think we get so caught up like on these amount of like followers and numbers. When you really think about it, you being able to reach 1,000 people. And if those 1,000 people just tell 2 people, now you reach 3,000 people, right? So it's crazy.
So I just did an interview on a local news station. And it wasn't that I was hesitant. It was just like, okay, local, like, let me just jump on. We didn't have any questions. And I got in like literally 30 seconds prior to when the interview was starting, right? And I got on and the sound check guy was like, testing 1, 2, 3. And I was just quiet because I saw my face on the screen on television. And I was like, and he's like, Shontay, are you there? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And then he's like, you're on with so-and-so, 10 seconds. And he counted down and I was on TV, right? And she started talking and I start talking. Everything went well. We was jiving, right? Because it was real natural. I was talking about what I do on a daily basis. So I tell you the story to say that I was a little reluctant, like, okay, it's just local, whatever. Girl, the next day that shit was on Yahoo News, 62 million views. And that's why people sleep. It's unfortunate. Like, I've done podcasts where it's like, okay, yeah, on YouTube we got 1 view. That's fine. But we have a believer, right? This person, whoever I gave the 30 minutes to, maybe I was their first interview. I don't know. But maybe they just told their whole family because they've been trying to pop off their podcast. Like, hey, my first interview was Shontay Lundy. So I don't take those things for granted.
And I appreciate you and continue that because I'm telling you, the people out there who need that validation, right? And just need that motivation to keep going. That's why it's called Dreams and Drive. It's not really about just it's about hearing other people's stories, but that unlocks something in the person listening. Like someone listening right now is going to be pushed to do something that they didn't think they could do.
And you're capable of unlocking it. So keep that in mind.
Thank you. Well, listen, we could talk forever, but I know you got to get to your day. I got to get to my day before I have to pick up that little boy, aka my son. But I appreciate this conversation. As always, keep in touch, girl. Okay.
Oh, always, always.
All right. Bye, Shontay.
Bye.
All right, so that's a wrap for episode 303 with Shontay Lundy. I hope you enjoyed hearing her dream driving journey as well as her keys to success. If you enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Please make sure that you are following us across social media. We are Dreams and Drive across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And use that hashtag Dreams and Drive when sharing as well. I love to see you guys post into Instagram stories, especially. I always go in and retag. Share the word about Dreams and Drive. Let people know just how much these stories are inspiring your own dream driving journey, and that reminder that you do not have to put your dreams in park. They can be put into drive, right? If you want to join our weekly newsletter, The Keys, and get weekly updates delivered right to your email inbox, just sign up at dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. And if you are a listener who thinks that you have the perfect dream driving journey, or you know somebody who does, please pitch the show. You can pitch me at dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. That's dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. As always, keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 304. Bye, guys.